Elite Facts presents
5 interesting animal intelligence facts.
5.
Songbirds who don't sing as often tend to have a better memory. So this is a bit of a strange one. According to researchers from Duke University, the male song sparrows experience a trade-off between the number of songs they sing and the strength of their other mental abilities. Further research shows that the female song sparrows may use this fact to judge the mental abilities of their potential mates. Female songbirds may have good reason to be judgmental, as some male song sparrows are tested to see if they have the ability to solve food-finding puzzles. Studies have shown that the birds who are singing fewer songs learn to solve the puzzles the quickest. The researchers believe this shows that there's a trade-off between learning songs and other mental abilities, such as spatial memory. Song learning and spatial learning are controlled by different areas of the bird's brain. So as the song sparrow's brain continues to develop, and if more resources are used to learn songs, there are fewer resources left for other mental abilities like spatial memory. 4. Dogs. It goes without saying, but dogs are certainly one of the more intelligent creatures on the planet. Sure, some domesticated dogs do stupid things, but their intelligence shows no bounds. One of the more obvious things is their heightened sense of smell. For us humans, one whiff of the cologne or perfume of someone we love may trigger an immediate emotional reaction in us. For dogs, the reaction is even stronger. Researchers set out to seek how dogs would respond to the sense of absent humans and to the sense of absent dogs, both familiar and unfamiliar. The experiment was conducted with 12 domesticated dogs of various breeds, and they were each presented with 5 different scents while undergoing a magnetic resonance imaging scan of the brain. The scents used in the experiment were taken from the test dogs themselves. For their own experiment, a different dog and a human that lived in the same house as the test dog, an unfamiliar dog, and an unfamiliar human. Scent donors were not present during the experiment, as it would interfere with the experiment as is expected. All 5 scents caused a similar response in the areas of the brain that detect smells. However, in the area of the brain associated with emotion, the dogs responded most positively to familiar humans. Familiar dogs were also seen positively by them, but nowhere near as positive as familiar humans. However, the reward response occurred only with familiar humans, i.e., the people the dogs loved. The researchers weren't sure if that response was based on food, play, or other factors. They concluded that dogs remember us even when we're not there. We don't call them man's best friend for nothing.
3.
Elephants comfort their own. It must be said that it's incredibly rare to see consoling in the animal kingdom, which is probably due to the fact that there's a lack of empathy amongst animals. However, studies and research show that Asian elephants will now join the select group of animals scientifically shown to display this behavior. Before Asian elephants were added, this exclusive group included the likes of great apes, ravens, and certain other corvids and canines. A group of 26 captive Asian elephants in Thailand was observed for over a year. When one of these elephants became stressed out by something they see as a potential threat, like a nearby dog or snake, its ears and tail would stand out, and it might even emit a roar of some kind. When this happened, the researchers noted that other elephants who were being researched would waste no time in rushing to the distressed elephant to offer physical and vocal comfort. A consoling elephant tended to make a chirping sound, almost like a human would with their own child. The comforting elephant might also use its trunk to softly touch the distressed elephant's face, or hug by putting its trunk in the distressed elephant's mouth. Nearby elephants might also respond as a group to help. The researchers also hope to study wild elephants to see if they also demonstrate this consolation behavior. It should also be noted that elephants will mourn the death of their own, as they will often visit elephant grave sites regularly and will stay beside a deceased elephant from their herd for some time. Elephants will take leaves, dirt, and branches and cover other elephants after they die. It's also been observed that elephants will do the same for humans and other empathetic animals like dogs.
2.
Rats have strange memories. So a rat's intelligence and memory is quite complex. To put it into perspective, their mind is a lot like a computer. Rats have short-term random access memories that store information used in ongoing processes. Although strange, this is quite common among other living creatures such as crows and even us humans, as we have working memories. In humans, this allows us to store and process information to play games, solve mental arithmetic problems, and follow conversations. Researchers at the International School for Advanced Studies were surprised to find this type of memory system in a mammal as simple as a rat. They found that the rats responded to vibrations with their whiskers much as us humans would with our fingertips. The rats' working memories help them recognize and decide how to respond to these environmental stimuli. Without this type of RAM, rats wouldn't be able to use their experiences to figure out the best course of action. As of now, researchers have yet to figure out which part of a rat's brain is responsible for working memory. Other researchers have identified the area in a crow's brain that contains its working memory. Since a crow's brain is structured differently from a mammal's brain, this shows that the development of cognitive abilities is possible in different brain structures, including some much simpler than a human brain.
1.
Crows hold grudges. Crows are just way too smart. So smart, in fact, that researchers have at least been able to show that they engage in ridiculously smart behavior. How so? They are so smart that they can recognize a face that they hold a grudge for. Scientists had no idea what they were getting into when they started trapping crows for research. They noticed that the birds had started to harass them as soon as they would walk into the office. They tried wearing different clothing as a way to confuse them, but it didn't work, as no matter how many attempts they made to trick the crows would always recognize them.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.